One Gotti, talking sports.
YouTube, what's going on? It's One Gotti here. We got another Washington Commanders video, and in today's video, I'm coming on here with the video. What we're going to be talking about is head coach Ron Rivera on the hot seat, and should he bench Carson Wentz? So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. But before we do, make sure you guys go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload a video about the NFL, or in this case, our Washington Commanders. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers, so that subscribe button again if you haven't already. Thank you so much. Let's get straight into today's video. So today's video is a video that I did not want to make, especially this early on in the season, and we'll talk more about this tonight on the show that I'll be hosting at 8 p.m. going live on the channel. Make sure you guys come through for that. This is a video that, one, I did not want to make this early in the season, and I didn't expect to make, and two, this is a conversation that, although we don't want to have, we have to have, and that is Ron Rivera officially on the hot seat for some of you, and should he bench Carson Wentz? And I'll answer my perspective and what my opinion is, and you leave your opinion down below. Now, let's attack the first thing. Is Ron Rivera officially on the hot seat? For me personally, like my opinion, if I was in charge of everything, I would have him on the hot seat. If I was the owner of this team, I'd be like, okay, Ron, I gave you the keys. I gave you more power than I gave any of my head coaches, probably outside of maybe Mike Shanahan. Is probably the closest coach that had the same power that Ron Rivera's having. But still, he doesn't have more power than Ron Rivera, or he didn't have more power than Ron Rivera. I'm like, Ron, it's the third year. You're off to similar starts than in your first 2 years. What is going on? What is going on? Let me hear what is it that's the problem right now. I wouldn't fire him, but he would be on the hot seat. And if we get to around week 6 and the same week 7, week 8 maybe, because it is week 5 already, so that means he has 2 weeks really. So if we get to like week 7, week 8, and the same thing is still going on, then I would probably fire him. You know what I'm saying? But right now, I would at least tell him that he's on the hot seat, you know, because he needs to make things change right now. Stuff needs to start changing right now at this very moment, starting with this game versus Tennessee, because Washington is 1-3 in the division, and this is a familiar space that we've been in for the past decade. We're always at the bottom of the NFC East, and this is we carved out a home for us. We're always there. That's our spot. We're 1-3 right now. We're 0-2 in the division, and me personally, obviously, the season isn't officially over. We still have time to turn it around, and I'm going to be rooting for this team each and every week to win, and I hope we can turn it around. But how I'm personally feeling is the season's over for me, because I don't see this team turning it around fully enough to where they're going to get a playoff berth, whether it's a wild card or even get back in this division race. I feel like this team is going to turn it around enough, possibly enough to just get 7 to 8 wins and miss out on the playoffs and get a terrible pick like 15 to 14 or an 11th range, you know, the 11th to 15th range of picks. That's horrible. That is the worst case scenario. You cannot have that, and I think that's where we're headed right now at this current juncture under Ron Rivera. I don't think we're going to be bad enough to get a top 5 pick, but I don't think we're going to be good enough to fully turn this season around to go make the playoffs. That's Ron Rivera's team. That's his team that's been here. We've been mediocre, and I think it's going to continue this year. I think we're going to be at some point find ourselves and get in a stretch where we're going to get hot. We're going to make a run. And then we're going to finish off the season cold, and we're going to miss the playoffs, and we're going to probably be like 7-10 again, 8-9, 6-11. You know, not bad, but mediocre to the point where you're not making no serious business. And it's like, Ron, okay, this is your 3rd year in a row where you're finishing around with the same record. Things must change, because there's no reason why you cannot get over the hump and get this team to where they need to be. I would officially start that clock for Ron Rivera right now as far as being on the hot seat. There's no reason why he should still feel comfortable right now. He needs to change. He needs to get his personnel better. He needs to get his coaching staff right. Everybody needs to hold accountability for this poor start. It's not just one group. It's not just one person. And Ron Rivera, he's basically blaming it all on injuries, but injuries happens to everybody. We're not the only team that's dealing with injuries. Quite frankly, like a lot of people are putting it, our injuries are nothing compared to some teams like Dallas, who's without their starting quarterback, Cleveland, who's without Deshaun Watson. Obviously, I know that's not injury related, but without Deshaun Watson. I mean, Arizona is without DeAndre Hopkins. The list goes on with a lot of key players. The Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert dealing with ribs, and Joey Bosa's out for majority of the year. You know what I'm saying? Rashawn Slater, also another guy, a huge piece of that team out, man. There's so many teams dealing with bigger injuries than us. And yes, we've been battered and bruised, but you can't use that as a scapegoat or as a way out, man. We've been terrible to start the year. And it's starting with Ron Rivera. You have to look yourself in the mirror and say, what did I do? What team did I put together? What coaching staff did I put together? This is on me. He has to come up next time he talks and take full blame of that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the fans will feel a little bit better if Ron Rivera was to come up here and say this was on me, instead of always finding a way to look for excuses or way out of things. I think if Ron was to say, you know what, guys, the season hasn't started the way it has, and that's on me because I put together this coaching staff, I put together these players, and I felt like these players were the best players to give us a chance to win, and obviously I have been wrong. But obviously these coaches, these players have egos, so they're not going to get up there and do that. But I would feel a little bit better if Ron Rivera did that. But obviously he's not. I would start the clock for Ron Rivera, me personally, because I feel like it's time for him to exit if things don't change. But is Daniel Snyder going to do that? No, he's not, because one thing that Ron Rivera has done for this organization in a good way is kind of change the narrative as far as the business side of things a little bit. Obviously, Dan Snyder's still going through a lot of things, and people still look down on his organization, but they still say, oh, hey, man, they got Ron Rivera in there. You know, Ron Rivera is a good guy. He's a leader of men, and he's building a good culture there. So that's the positive thing that he did do for this organization. But as far as on the field play, it's still the same. So Daniel Snyder's not going to do that because he wants to keep Ron Rivera here as the positive outlook on his franchise. If he let go of Ron Rivera, who else is going to want to come here? Who else is going to come here? I hear people talking about Sean Payton. I don't think Sean Payton's going to come here, especially if we fire him at this point in the season. No. That was something that you would have had to do this past offseason or wait to do next offseason. You can't fire Ron Rivera and expect to replace him with somebody good at this moment. Because if that's the case, the person that you're going to replace him with would have had a job already. So if you fire Ron Rivera now, week 5 or week 4, heading into week 5, there's probably going to be like a 2019 situation all over again, where once you fire Jay Gruden after week 5, after the Patriots blowout loss, Bill Callahan would take over. I think it would probably be Jack Del Rio if Ron Rivera was to leave. You know what I'm saying? Get fired right now. And does Jack Del Rio give us a better chance to win? Maybe. I mean, I'm just saying, Jack had one good year in Oakland. So I'm just saying, if that was the case, that probably wouldn't be too bad. But at the same time, do you really want to do that right now? I don't know. But that's just my take on that part of it. I would officially start the clock for Ron Rivera and him being on a hot seat, but I don't think Dan Snyder's going to do that. What do you say? What would you do if you were in charge of this organization? Would you put Ron Rivera on a hot seat right now? Would you straight up fire him right now, or would you continue to let him have the keys and him feel comfortable? Moving on to the next part of the video, I want to talk about, should Ron Rivera bench Carson Wentz? Me personally right now, Carson Wentz has not played well. He hasn't played well. Is it fully his fault? No. But does he have some blame in it? Yes, he does. He lacks pocket awareness. Before he even takes a snap on the field, he's nervous. He's scared. He's overthinking. He leads the league in intentional groundings. He's nervous. He's not playing like a starting quarterback right now. He's playing like a guy that is just overwhelmed, okay? He hasn't played good again. But would I bench him right now at this current moment? Me personally, I would not. Because that's basically saying you're giving up on the season. Because if you're going to bench him, the only person I want to see in that game is Sam Howell. I don't want to see Taylor Heinicke. I love Taylor Heinicke to death. I really do. But why? It's no sense in putting Taylor Heinicke in it because we already know what he is. If you're going to bench Carson Wentz, you might as well just give Sam Howell the keys for the rest of the season. And you're basically throwing in the towel there. Because you don't expect Sam Howell to do anything in year 1. you're basically throwing in the towel if you're putting in Sam Howell. So I personally wouldn't bench him right now because I feel like although the season to me is over, mathematically and in actuality, in reality, it is not. We're still early in the season. I don't think and obviously they don't think it's over, so they're going to continue to ride with Carson Wentz. And again, he has not been good, but has he really been given a fair shot? Let's be real, guys. I know people that don't like Carson Wentz, people that don't want to see him in there no more. He's been bad. Think about it. With everything that has played in the factor of the first 4 weeks, has he been really given a fair shot? Giving the offensive line troubles, giving giving the injuries to the offensive line, giving the play calling that Scott Turner has been calling, everything playing in a factor. Has Carson Wentz really been given a fair shot to succeed? And also, he has to take some blame. Like I said, it's not just everyone else. He has to take some blame too. It's everything that's taking a factor in this poor start. And Carson Wentz, me personally right now, I wouldn't bench him, man, because the kind of person I am, I'm not going to throw in a towel after week 5. You know what I'm saying? I personally am not. But again, I don't see this team right now at the current juncture in October 5th to turn it around fully to the point where they're just going to make the playoff run. They're probably going to turn around just enough to where we win 7 to 8 games and we're back in the same predicament that we were in the last 2 weeks, so 2 years. So I wouldn't bench Carson Wentz, but what says you out there? Is it time to let go of Wentz after the first 4 weeks? Me personally, again, you traded for this guy just to give him a chance, man. You know what I'm saying? And after 4 weeks, that's basically saying you don't give him a chance. You're basically not giving him a full chance to see what he got. They done already shown that they don't trust Carson Wentz because they've been taking the ball out of his hands. They didn't even give the man a chance to get a 2-minute offense late in the second half when they had 2 timeouts in 1 minute and 6 seconds. So obviously the coaching staff already does not believe in him, and that's clear as day. The injuries up front, it doesn't help him. The play calling 7-step drops doesn't help him. In my opinion, he's not giving a fair shot, but at the same time, he's not helping himself because when he has time in the pocket, he's playing scared. He's not climbing the pocket. He's looking for a way out. He's not throwing accurate passes down the field to Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dawson. He looks scared, so everyone's playing in a factor of this poor start. Let's be real, but I don't think Carson Wentz has been given a fair shot overall because, again, he didn't expect his offensive line to be like this. He didn't expect Scott Turner to call plays like this. He didn't expect the coaching staff to not believe in him after week 4. So, yeah, that's just my take on it, man. Let me know what you guys think about this video in the comment section down below. Both parts. There's 2 parts. I need two answers from you guys. Would you start the clock for Ron Rivera being on the hot seat? Or would you straight up fire him right now? Or would you give him the keys, continue to let him have the keys, and him be comfortable? That's one question. Second question, would you bench Carson Wentz right now? Basically give up on the whole Carson Wentz experience, and that's it what it is. I understand people want to save the draft pick and all that. That right now is the least of my worries. I don't care about the draft pick right now. I care about trying to win games and turn around this season. So what says you out there? Answer those 2 questions down below in the comment section. As always, me and boy Juan Gotti. Like, comment, subscribe. Hell to the Washington Commanders. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers. So that subscribe button again if you haven't already. I'm out. Peace. Cost me one time, that's gonna get you pop. Get you pop, get you drop. Slide on the one where they get you locked on. I ain't stopping till I get me all the money.